Hi, and welcome to Wednesday. An announcement to make before I get started. We'll do this today. We do YouTube, and next Wednesday we will do the YouTube, and that will be the last one. I've answered all the questions that I can possibly answer, and there's over 190 of these. And if you have a specific problem, you can go back and look at one of them, and you can find your answer. We're going to start doing a podcast sometime in July. So we're going to wrap this one up. Okay, this one is from Jada, and she writes, my mother's brother, my uncle, just recently passed away. They were very close. My aunt just recently was home alone when the phone rang. The caller ID said my uncle's name with their phone number. When she said hello, no one was there. She said hello 3 more times, and still nothing. They both feel my uncle has not crossed over and is still here. My mom's question is, how can she get him to cross over and be at peace? She feels he has a message for them. You'd be surprised how often this happens, where a phone will ring, and it's not even usually a solid ring. It's like a sick ring, not loud as it normally is. You pick it up, and yes, on the caller ID it says who it is, and it's like, wow. And sometimes you hear I'm okay, sometimes you don't hear anything. You did not say how soon after your uncle died this happened. It usually happens while they still have their white light and they haven't crossed over yet. So it's usually within the 48 to 72 hours after the final memorial service. So if it happened in that time period, then that doesn't mean that he did not cross over. It just means he hadn't crossed over yet. And don't expect a dream for at least 6 months, and sometimes it can take up to 2 years before you get your dream and you know they are where they're supposed to be. Just in case he has not crossed over, take a blank piece of paper and write on it what you say his name was. Uncle, if you want to go to the white light, put down the funeral home he was being shown at, and say, go to Smith's funeral home, write down, go to Smith's funeral home when there is a service going on, use the white light mutant crossover. Okay, this one is from Joyce in Arizona. We have spirits on our property. They have been felt by us and seen by us, and other people have seen them also. Because of our location, we have wondered if they are Native Americans. My husband has found pottery pieces and even arrowheads. There's also a pictograph just a mile or two from our house. We're 6 miles outside of a town. Not all Native Americans go into the light when they die. Yes, some do, but some stay to take care of Mother Earth. That's their job. And you may be picking up on those. That's a possibility. I would have no way of knowing that. And in that area, I would think arrowheads are actually pretty common. Pottery, not so much. And it could be, but like I said, if you really feel they're Native Americans, they're probably doing just what they're supposed to be doing, and they are not an issue. This one is from Bella in Utah. About a year ago, my husband had a heart attack. They brought him back. Now he doesn't act like himself. He accuses me of doing things I would never do. He also eats things he would never before eat. He won't eat things he always loved. It sometimes seems that a spirit has taken over his body. I have no way of knowing this, but this is a prime example of this could be a walk-in, where your husband actually did pass away when he had his heart attack, and this is another spirit that has walked in, hence walk in. And it could be that um, if your husband would be agreeable to it, you may want to get on a Zoom with him. And I may be able to pick up something from that. His actual spirit, if this is a walk in, his actual spirit may be in the room. And if you're on Zoom, I could see the spirit, and you would know if this really was your husband or if your husband actually died. The cat, not a ghost, the cat. This is from Justine. Hi, Marianne. I have been sick for several years now with no diagnosis. I have digestive issues with which no doctors can find what was wrong with me. I haven't left my house for a really long time because I'm always tired. I always think someone is watching my family and through the windows, and all I want to do is cover the windows. There has been someone murdered in my family, and ever since I've been sick. What should I do? Sounds like you may have a couple of things going on here. The murder obviously was a blow to you, and it's still upsetting you. So I think maybe this is something that you need to talk to somebody about, not necessarily a spirit, but it sounds like this might be something more that a doctor, a medical doctor may be able to help you with. The bell that's going off is that you want to cover up all your windows. And that just doesn't make sense to me. So I think that's what I would do, Justine. You can come on Zoom and I can tell you whether there is a ghost in the house or not, but I'm betting not. This is from Essa in California. Over the years, all kinds of strange things have been happening at my grandfather's house. Things have flown off the walls, toys have been thrown, we've heard a loud boom, and found the dog skidding down the hallway. Totally in fear, with no explanation as to what caused the noises. My grandmother's shoes have even been taken off her feet, and that was before she died. She was always sick. We've even seen what we think is a little boy, but the moment that you get to look at him, he vanishes. I know this is a long shot, but I was wondering if you could help us find out once and for all if this is a ghost or if our imaginations have just gotten the best of us. It sounds like you probably do have something going on here. I don't know what the business with taking off your grandmother's shoes, why they would do that, but everything that you said absolutely, positively could be going on. So you are definitely somebody that should get on Zoom, and let's see if there's a little kid in the house or who's playing with the shoes. This one is from David in Washington State. My name is David, and I've never heard/seen, in parentheses, that can be confirmed, but I feel like I'm paranoid because I constantly feel a calm/confused presence around me. Am I crazy or delusional? David, I have no way of knowing from this letter. And just because you feel like somebody's around you doesn't mean that you're paranoid. It just means that you are aware of the other energy that is around you. And we can absolutely try to figure out if somebody is with you. And again, Zoom is always good. You can call and leave a message. and I will get back to you. Long distance calls, unless I've talked to you on Zoom, I am not calling back anybody long distance just yet. But that will start again. So you can go ahead and leave a message, and I can tell from that if you don't want to get on Zoom. But, you know, that would be the absolute best way for me to tell who's around you when somebody's around you. This one is from Jewel in Hawaii. I'm currently finishing When Ghosts Speak. I think it's very thorough and definitely fascinating. Thank you. The questions I have are related to earthbound spirits drawing energy from the living. What happens to a spirit if it hasn't been energized or eaten? That's a good word. Okay. Um, if they can't get enough energy in the house that they were at, they will go to a mall, they will go to a stadium, they will go to a theater, they will go someplace where they can go to the supermarket and get energy that way and then come back. In some instances, people that have moved into homes never, ever had a problem until they started remodeling a house after they were there for a couple or a few years. That's when the ghost that was very dormant got really upset and started acting up because they were taking down walls and changing the looks of the house, which they did not like. So, yes, they can go dormant for a while also, but they can, perk up whenever they want to. I know that you say in the book to stay mellow and not react if you suspect one is in your home. Also, not to engage, yell, or speak to it at all because this could ruffle them up. Plus, you're giving them more energy by talking to them. And that's exactly what you don't want to do. You are totally better off ignoring them. Do they just go somewhere else after a while, or does their spirit become dormant? Which I answered. Uh, Nobody's ever asked me this. This is also, do you have, in other words, do I have any long term earthbound spirit friends? I don't think I do. The friendship I have with them is that they're so happy and thankful that I made the light so they could cross over. The story about Barbara Stanwyck in your book is what made me curious about this. I imagine a sort of ghost consultant for the living ghost consultant. Have you ever sought help from a ghost to assist with a more stubborn ghost? I hope you are able to reply somehow. I'm so curious. Golly. No, I don't believe that well, that's not true. When I have an earthbound human in a house and there is maybe a child that's afraid to go into the light by themselves, or a cat spirit, something that the adult earthbound spirit can pick up and take with them, or hold the kid's hand and take the kid with them. So that way they've helped. And I've already been in a house where there was a ghost there, and she told the woman who owns the house that your Aunt Carol comes through here a lot, and she's always around when you're making Christmas cookies, and she's always just so upset that you're using wrong recipes. And the lady of the house said, well, I know. I said, but she died, and she took her recipes with her. Where am I supposed to find them at? And so the ghost said, well, when she's not here, she's at your sister's house. So I did try. When I've got them in my sight, I hate to not let them go on the light, because it's like, crap, if I let them go, I'm going to end up seeing them in another house. So, but this woman was so upset that she couldn't get a certain recipe. I said, let's try this. I says, let's ask the ghost if do you know where her sister's house is? And the ghost shook her head. I says, can you go get Carol and bring her back? And I told the homeowner, I says, there's no guarantee that she's going to come back either. I says, but she'll be out of the house and we'll put the seeds up and the house will be protected. So the lady ghost went to the sister's house and came back with Aunt Carol. And the lady was so happy she got her recipe, and they both crossed over. Now, here's the thing, too. When Aunt Carol came in a dream, she could have asked her for the recipe then also. So, yeah, I mean, thanks for the good questions. And, yeah, definitely, it does happen. And my husband and I, this is from Barbara in Cincinnati. My husband and I moved into a home in 1995 and have experienced odd occurrences since about 98. Aside from the more common experiences like the smell of fresh pipe tobacco and church candles, we have also experienced very clear, disembodied voices. Objects moving quickly, inexplicably, specific area of the yard, which for a period of time caused me to become physically ill when I walked through it. All three of my children have described conversations with the woman whose portrait we have hanging in our living room. We don't feel the need or desire to dismiss any spirits from our home, but I wonder if we're causing them to suffer by not affording them the opportunity to cross over. What are your feelings on this? Personally, I think it's very selfish to keep a ghost. It's one thing if they do not want to cross over yet, but it's another thing if when it's time for me to leave a house and I say, are you ready to let them go? And you say, no, I'm going to keep them. That, I think, is what's mean. And I will not make the white light for them, but just a heads up, I will tell them how to cross over on their own. I'm not letting them go, and I'm not doing it, but they are doing it on their own. This business about the yard, I can understand when people get sick when they're inside an enclosed house. There's 4 walls on the property. The energy is contained within the 4 walls. That's why you get sick, the headaches, the lower intestinal problems, the kids with the ear, nose, throat, and upper respiratory problems. But outside in a yard, nothing is contained. I find it very hard to even come up with an answer for you on why you would be sick when you're outside. That I cannot tell you. I don't know. You may want to come on Zoom and, see what's going on. If you don't say what kind of property you have. If you have outbuildings outside, I guess there could be, a ghost here or there in one of the outbuildings. But as far as getting sick from outside, I think that would be a little hard for that to happen. Okay, we had our second book club meeting yesterday. It was very nice. The man talked about shadow people. It was excellent. It is on Facebook. You can rewatch that and get some good information on shadow people. This Saturday, if you are in the area, I will be at the Goddess Elite from 1 to 4. Come on in and see me. Next Tuesday is the new moon, and if you want to write it, it's an easy one. It doesn't peak till 10:52 p.m., which means you've got all day and you don't have to get up early to do it. The next Zoom this month is on Monday the 27th, and there are still about 6 spaces available because that is limited in size. Again, the book for next month's book club, which is on the 19th of July, it is Death and Life. Oh, Between Death and Life by Dolores Cannon. Okay, again, this is the second to the last YouTube I'm doing. Next Wednesday will be the last one. But again, go to my Facebook. There's a directory of, they're titled. So if you're looking for sleep paralysis or fairies or portals or curses, they are there. How to do the law of abundance, it is there. So everything is there. There's no sense in going over this stuff a bazillion times. And I appreciate everybody that's watched for all these. And like I said, something new will come up and you'll still be able to ask questions in another way with the podcast. Thanks very much and have a great day.